Hello.
Hi, Jack.
You're right. Just turn that down because you're massively loud where I've been watching the UFC.
Yeah, I just finished watching it myself.
Yeah.
So I'll just do a quick intro, Jack, and then we'll make a start, okay?
Yeah.
So good evening, everybody. Welcome to this Saturday night edition of Last World Boxing. So tonight we're just going to do a free format. We're just going to talk about anything that anybody wants to talk about. So please post your comments in the chat bar. If you want to join us on camera, I'll put the link in the chat bar also. Feel free to come and join us. Quick introduction. So I'm Carl from Last World Boxing. We got Jack, who's kindly joined us. Jack Gladman, matchmaker extraordinaire, Jack.
Well, that depends on the week, I think, with most people's opinions of me.
So, Jack, I'll give you first shot at this then. So what do you want to talk about?
I mean, there's a lot to talk about over the last couple of days. The weird one I've seen, and before you ask, there's no insider knowledge on this. I don't have any. Is the Usyk Joshua broadcasting situation?
Yeah,
I mean,
very
I'm seeing
interesting.
that it might not even be broadcast in the UK now.
Well, latest I've heard, Jack, is that Sky considering pulling out from the Saudi Arabia card because of all the golfing situation. I don't know whether you've heard them rumours as well.
Yeah. So I haven't asked anyone from Sky. Like, we both know who Sky's matchmaker is, and I could ask, but I haven't asked, and it would be a bit of a weird one. But then at the same time, I think it's a lot to do with the legal situation with the golfing thing, because if they then go ahead and they seem to be endorsing this, does it weaken their case legally with the golfing thing?
Yeah, it's a good question. It's quite a conundrum for Sky, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I can understand the positioning on it as well. Like, either way, like, obviously they don't want to lose revenue on this, but they sure as heck don't want to lose a lawsuit to someone like that I mean, it's just whichever one would gain them more or less money, to be honest.
Jack, from a commercial aspect, though, that I'm sure you'll appreciate, it's got to be broadcasted in the UK somewhere, hasn't it?
I mean, logically, I would say yes, but I mean, logically, and even I'm going to take myself out of the business of it. From a fan's point of view, we all want to see it broadcast in the UK, don't we?
And also, what does this look like going forward, Jack? Because I'd imagine, let's be honest, if AJ does beat Usyk and there's a Fury versus AJ fight, Saudi Arabia are going to be right in there, aren't they, in terms of bidding for it? So this problem could crop up time and time again.
And it's become more likely with the whole Fury Vegas situation. Because of that, it's become more likely, because that's where I would have assumed that fight would have ended up. Vegas,
I mean,
despite the fact it's two Brits.
It's 4 weeks tonight, that fight, isn't it? You know?
What, the Usyk one? Yeah, it's 4. Is it 4 weeks tonight? Yeah.
Yeah. So it's not long, is it, to get for the broadcasters to start working the magic in terms of marketing it.
The Badu Jack thing's quite random as well, that they've randomly got Badu Jack on that card. I don't know if you saw the video about the leaked contract about Probellum and like Sky Fighters and stuff like that.
No, I've not seen that one.
So allegedly, and I'm hoping they haven't done this because I'm pretty sure it's massively illegal. I don't know. Maybe I'm not a lawyer, but about Sky Fighters Probellum fighters not being able to fight on Sky and pay management fees to Probellum or something. That got leaked out. I don't know how true that actually is, because I've never heard anyone from boxing say that.
Another interesting development is Joshua Buatsi being in Jean Pascal for the IBF.
Yeah, that came out of left field. I didn't see that coming.
Yeah, I mean, obviously Jean Pascal's got let's call it a colourful past. So
is that what we're calling it? Yeah, I think me and you commented on this thing today, didn't we?
Yeah.
Me and Andy. Yeah, we commented on it, and I think all three of us and certain person on Twitter, you can look up who that was if anyone's watching this on playback. You can look up who that. I'm not going to say, because he may not want me to, and to be honest, I think. But we're all saying about it. Yeah, he's got a colourful bust. I actually quite like the fight. Is that weird?
How much has Jean Pascal got left though?
That's what I'm saying. This is why I quite like the fight, because I'm not sure. And I mean, it's definitely Buatsi's biggest test.
Where do you hold it? Got to be London.
I mean, London, or where's Pascal from?
Canada.
Well, yeah, it ain't going to be in Canada. So, yeah. I mean, yeah, so that would be my guess, would be London. Although, is it Buatsi that trains in the States?
Yeah.
So, I mean, you could go there because Pascal's quite big in the States. So, I mean, that's possible. But if it's in the States, it's on an undercard. It's not going to be a main event in the States. Well, no, it's not going to be a main event in the States. I don't see a way that would make sense.
What you mean? Go on.
The IBF have got a bit order happy today. I was seeing they ordered the Bridges fight now as well. Although there's some really big misconceptions on that. People seem to think, because of the whole Lee Wood thing, that mandatories don't take precedence over unifications. They don't. The Lee Wood thing was an exception because of the length of time. And it's the same with the Dillian White thing. That was why he had to be paid step-aside money.
Yeah.
And like he could negotiate his own person. It was to do with the length of time. There is exceptional circumstances where mandatories will override unifications, but as a general rule, unifications come first. So I saw somebody who we both, in fact, you probably saw it as well, who we've both spoken to in the past, mentioned about, Bridges will have to fight her. She won't. If she ends up getting the Forsland fight as a unification, or I'm trying to think who else holds belts at that division, which is bad because I should know it. I just knew Dina because of the Lee Eaton connection, but or the other title holders at that division. Girl who beat Shannon Courtney. Help me out here, Carl.
I know. I'm thinking it's quite late, isn't it, Jack?
Yeah.
You're the matchmaker extraordinaire.
Yeah, I know. I know who she is, and I can picture her. It's just names. But yeah. Anyway, if they wanted to fight them, then it wouldn't get blocked by the IBF. I don't think, unless because I don't think she's had that much time to do a unification. So
yeah.
But I can't. I mean, the IBF could say no, but it's very unlikely in that situation. So everyone's saying, "Oh, we're going to get this all Australian clash next on that." You probably won't. You'll probably get a unification. And I mean, Bridges has earned the right to do that. She won the belt.
Yeah. Just coming on to Lee Wood, I was amazed today when I was having to read up on it. Leo Santa Cruz has not had a mandatory defense for that belt since June 2018. And he last
June
defended
2018.
And he last defended the belt, which wasn't mandatory, obviously, February 2019.
Who was that then? The 2019 one? Do you know?
I'd have to have a look, but
I'd have to look because. But I knew it had been a while because I knew it was before the pandemic, and the reason I knew that was because he had that weird fight where he went and fought. Was it Tank?
Yeah.
Yeah, and he went up, and that wasn't, and that was up at like 135 or something, wasn't it? Yeah. It was, and so I knew he hadn't since then, but I'm really skeptical, and I know you really want that fight, and so do I to an extent, but I'm really skeptical he can actually make that weight again.
Well, it was quite a strange statement that the WBA come out with. They didn't confirm or neither deny. They just said that he'd made contact, didn't it? It was quite a woolly statement, wasn't it?
It kind of made, yeah, a load of people were saying he's been told he must fight, blah, 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 which he has, but they haven't confirmed or denied he's going to do it.
No.
He's just been told he can't have a unification. Well,
Yeah.
we kind of already knew that because they said in their original statement that the exceptional circumstances mean they will not allow a unification. So they've told us nothing, but you know,
What's your money on where it takes place if it does take place, Jack?
I want. Can I do head and heart here?
Yeah.
Head says it will be in America, probably LA. Heart, I'd love it to come to Nottingham because I think that would be good. But I don't see Leo traveling. That's the thing.
No. It'd have to be for a shed load of money, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying that it can't be done. Like there would be a purse that could make Leo travel because I mean, people said there was no way that you'd get what do you call it? Years ago when Froch had who did Froch bring to Nottingham? He brought someone to Nottingham, didn't he? Butte. And people said there was no way that that would get to Nottingham. Was that part of the Super Six though?
No.
Or was that straight after?
That was afterwards because Froch was going to retire, wasn't he? If he didn't win that fight.
Yeah. So Butte fight, they paid him a shed load of money and he came to Nottingham, which because people said that that would never have happened. So I mean, it is doable, but it's like you are going to be looking at that sort of a purse again.
But there's this big myth, isn't it, in the boxing circles that only Manchester and London have fight fans. You know?
No, I would object to that. I'd say we've been added to that now in Newcastle.
You reckon?
So, yeah, kind of to an extent, because everyone seems to want to. Because there seems to be like a civil war to get the Northeast at the moment, which is hilarious, and also, I mean, to be fair, we do have fight fans because just ask Clarissa Shields; she's terrified of them.
I think more of Nottingham. I think Eddie Hearn's got this idea that Lee Wood don't shift tickets.
Yeah, I don't understand that because he's never actually not been. He's not like I don't know how to explain it. He's not AJ like he's going to sell out Wembley, but he does sell tickets. I mean,
yeah.
The only I would say that would make sense for him to go out of Nottingham other than the Santa Cruz fight would be if they absolutely had to, because it was the only way he would do it, to do the unification with Warrington. But
yeah,
I mean, to be honest, I can see Warrington. Warrington said himself he would fight at the City Ground.
Warrington said he wants to take his Leeds fans on an away day.
Yeah, he said he'll do an away day. So, I mean, that's the thing. He wants he wants an away day. And can you imagine the atmosphere in that?
It'd be electric.
That would be electric. There would also be trouble, but but I would 100% go. I would pay for that, and that's, I'm tight and I can get to a lot of boxing for free, so I won't generally. There's a few.
Well, obviously, we're quite close to the Lee Wood camp on Last Bell Boxing, and I was reliably informed that Lee could have sold two or three times the amount that he shifted for the Nottingham Arena.
Yeah.
For the Conlon fight, so.
Oh yeah, for the Conlon one, yeah.
So there is a fan base there.
I've heard that as a rumor as well, so that he could have done at least twice what he actually did.
Well, I dare say that I don't think there's many Irish fans there as people are trying to make out for Conlon.
Conlon, right? So people think that there was a lot of Irish fans there for Conlon. There was an Irish fighter on the undercard, wasn't there? And
yeah, there was. Yeah,
who brought a decent amount with them. So some of the Irish that were there for both of them, not just for Conlon.
And there's a Derby fighter on the undercard as well who would have shifted some tickets as well. So
yeah, who I'm trying to think who that was, but yeah,
Sandy Ryan.
That was it. It was Sandy Ryan and she does decent tickets. Obviously, it's nearby, so there's some people that shifted decent tickets on that thing. But yeah, this I'm not saying Conlan doesn't have loads of fans. He does, but like this myth about the Irish only came to watch Conlan. No, it was they came. The Irish are good boxing fans, and they came for
Yeah,
the
yeah.
show. They didn't come just because it was Michael. Well,
No.
obviously they probably came over because it was Michael Conlan, but they were there for the whole night. It wasn't like Conlan losing would have been the only thing they were caring about. But also, big up the Scousers tonight who won me 30 quid on the UFC. Thank you very much.
Good evening,
Are
Sean.
you right?
Evening,
You
guys.
right, Sean?
That's right.
Yeah.
Oh, good,
You look
oh,
very
good.
relaxed tonight, Sean.
Yeah.
Sean was just touching on some myths around Lee Wood about not being a ticket seller, and the fact that there's a strong rumor that Lee Wood could have shifted 2 or 3 times the tickets he did for the arena, which holds roughly 10,000 for the Conlan fight.
Oh, is that what that holds? Because I was going to ask you that.
Yeah, roughly. Yeah, yeah,
Scott Kalo asked me once, and I was like, you live here, I don't.
yeah, roughly about 10,000. So, Sean, me and Jack have been talking about what we think's next for Lee Wood. I know we've asked this a couple of times, but have you changed your opinion regarding what's next? I know. Where do you think that Leo Santa Cruz fight takes place, Sean?
I think probably Vegas.
Okay, so that means we've picked 2 different American cities then, because I said LA. I mean, Vegas is also a viable option, and to be honest, I'd go to Vegas.
Yeah, then I don't really want to drift into this territory, but it was brought up on Thursday night. I don't believe there's any restrictions on Lee Wood getting into America. I don't believe it for 1 minute. So that may be the only challenge if there is a restriction. By all accounts, there's a big long list, isn't there?
There might be. It depends who's in his team as well. With that.
Yeah, let's hope not, because that could throw a spanner in the works, couldn't it? If there is any credibility to that argument.
I mean, I don't know. I don't see why there would be with Lee Wood. Is there anything that you know of that I don't?
No, he's as straight as he come.
Yeah. I mean,
Would only be Davis and Lee that why there could be some sort of in that.
yeah, but the only thing with this is if everyone who was linked to everyone in boxing,
There'll be
no
no
one will ever
fights.
be able to go to America.
So I think we'll better
Only
come.
one McKinson can go, who is an ex-MTK fighter. Like,
Yeah, I don't think it'll be a problem.
yeah.
Let's hope not. Anyway, let's come away from that
let's
subject.
go away from that because I could end up talking myself into trouble here.
Yeah, let's go away from that. So, one thing I would like to pick your brains on, Jack, as a matchmaker is if Del Boy is one of your clients, who would you be looking at matching him with next?
Right, does he have to fight again? That's the thing.
Well, he'll be telling you he wants to fight.
All right, okay. So if he wants to fight, you know what? It's really hard. So
let me throw some names at you then.
Yeah.
And you tell me whether the goers or what your concerns would be.
Yeah.
These are what I've been rooted. So, Dillian White.
Been there, done it. Don't really good fights, but don't really need to see it again. But if the others were all terrible, then I'd go with it. Yeah.
Joe Joyce.
See, I would watch that fight.
Remember, we're talking about Del Boy here, Derek Chisora.
Yeah. I'd watch that fight just because I want to see. It's not a fight where Del Boy likely ends up in hospital. That's the thing.
Yeah, because remember, Del Boy's going to want payday as well, so you need to keep that in mind.
And if that's his, but if he takes that fight, that is his out fight because he probably does lose.
Daniel Dubois.
World title, so yeah. You can't begrudge the kid a world title, so yeah, go on.
And
You
then
can't
what about your up and coming? So you Fabio Wardlers as well and people like that. Is the money there though?
The money's not there. The one that I would actually be interested in would be Lucas Brown.
Can they reinvent Lucas Brown again to the British boxing public though? Because he's been spanked last couple of times. He's been over, hasn't he?
You can to me because I won 100 quid on him.
But am I going to sit there and watch Lucas Brown versus Del Boy? Probably not.
Mate, most random people. There's a lot of random casual fans who watch Derek Chisora. I mean,
Sure, would you watch that?
I believe that Derek Chisora is like in that elite group, which still confuses me. I mean, he's a world level, but he's not world class. He's never.
I would argue he's not world level.
I'd argue he's gatekeeper to world level. That would be my argument.
Sure, what are your thoughts on Del Boy? Would you throw him in with any of them names that I've mentioned?
No, I'm not so sure really. The guy that could be a good fight was Yoka. He's coming off a loss. That could be an interesting.
Yeah, see, that would be interesting. I'd take that.
Picola?
No,
Yeah.
I would like to see Piccoli fight Dubois, actually.
Yeah, I
think that
mean,
would be a great fight.
you talk about avoided fighters. You talk about Martin
Oh,
Piccoli,
yeah,
don't
he
you?
is. I'd like to see him fight Dubois, to be honest. I genuinely think he could beat him as well. That's the thing. And then you've got Martin Piccoli as world champion. Which I know Billy Nelson would be insufferable. Now I like Billy, but it would, it would be a good fight, and let's be honest, we'd all pay to watch it.
I thought Martin Piccoli. I mean, I predicted Martin Piccoli was going to beat Yoka.
So did I. I think me and you had the conversation on here, didn't we, about it?
Yeah, I think Sean. I think you might have gone for Yoka, didn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you did at the time. Yeah,
I think Andy did as well.
What Sean did though, I can understand it. Don't get me wrong.
I think I might have used how much hype for Yoka, and I think he is, to be honest.
Probably.
So, coming on to Demetrius Andrade, have you seen the footage where he's been calling out Eubank Jr.?
Yes.
Now, is he just taking advantage of knowing that Eubank Jr. isn't available? And one question that I will ask to you both is, if that fight was to take place, who wins? So Sean, who wins that fight?
Oh, I probably beats him, but it's an interesting fight. I don't know how true it is, but Sky and Boxer has signed me, and I think you'll see Liam Smith with a dream I've heard anyway.
Makes sense. And what about you, Jack? Who do you favour in that fight?
See, I favour Andrade in that fight, because I think it's the wrong style for Eubank. I genuinely believe that. I think it's the wrong style for Eubank to fight. He's had a weird career, hasn't he, Demetrius Andrade?
Avoided as well, in my view.
He's avoided, but then some fights that just make no sense. Like he takes fights that just you go, why? And then gets avoided for them that fights. I mean, whatever happened, and we'll never know, and I don't know, so I don't think it will ever become public knowledge. I don't know, and I don't deal with a lot of Americans because my one experience of dealing with Americans didn't go very well. But actually, no, one of two. But the whole Charlo fight and that dropping out didn't go down too well, did it?
Also, the Zach Parker fight. What was all that about?
I don't particularly.
Was he ever fighting Zach Parker? Couldn't find his passport to come over to the press conference.
I don't know. It was Parker that pulled out injured though. Parker that pulled out of the fight, not Andrade.
I don't know if he's done it with you guys, but he's private messaged me on Twitter a few times to promote a movie he was in, and then he's messaging me when he's fighting Brian Rose. So I just find him very strange. I mean, it's just strange as well. I mean, he isn't the most marketable boxer, is he? He doesn't really have a personality as much as he's just really hard to promote him. I think Matchroom's done a very good job, really. But he's just really hard.
When he gate-crashed Canelo's press conference, that was cringeworthy, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Who's this?
Andrade.
Demetrius Andrade.
Yeah. Why was Andrade messaging? I'm really confused now. He's not likely to message me because I think you can get in trouble. Like, he's not likely to message me.
I got that DM about the movie as well, Sean. Very strange.
I'm left out. Demetrius, why was I not informed about your movie?
You're obviously not well known enough, are you, Jay? You need to work on your profile a little bit. So, next topic then, guys, is Gervonta Davis versus Ryan Garcia. They're doing the rounds on social media, aren't they? Having pot shots at each other.
That's never going to happen.
Do you not think so?
Do you really think Mayweather's going to risk that?
Probably not. But who's to say?
Garcia, in which case, then that probably can happen.
Like I said, who's to say he's going to stay with Mayweather though? Because I understand his fight deal's up.
Is it? I thought he had one left.
No, I think he's done.
Oh, if he's done, then
I think so, Jack.
Happen.
There's a lot of rumours flying around, isn't there? About is there one fight left?
Yeah, this is what I was trying to figure out because I couldn't work out if he was. Yeah, but do you know what? If it's done, he's got a chance. We got a chance of it happening. If not, unless Mayweather suddenly signs Ryan Garcia, which I mean could happen. Weirder things have happened. Then we might actually have it.
But then in the next breath, you got Shakur Stevenson coming out and saying it should be a round robin event with him, Haney, and Davis. Now that does affect the appetite.
Yes, but then you've got Shakur's promoter, Arum, wanting to put him in with Lomachenko. So, I mean, if we're going to do a round robin, can we stick Lomachenko in there as well and have all four of them go round?
There seems to be a lot of hot air floating around without any substance, don't there? I know a promoter's job is to promote, but it's getting a bit boring, to be honest.
So let's just get this all on, right? I don't know who promotes Garcia at this point because it just seems to be promoting himself.
Golden Boy, isn't it?
Is he still with Golden Boy? Because I was never quite 100% sure about this.
He's still on the website, and it's still all he's still got.
Right, so just get all four of them to ring me and I'll sort it out because this is getting stupid now and I'll... Actually,
as you know...
4 phone calls from America. Probably 4.
Well, as you know, Jack, we've had Roberto Diaz on the show a few times and we're due to have him on again. And to be fair, he does answer a straight question. So it'll be one that I put to Roberto next time we have him on.
Yeah, do, please. Because I remember you had him on a few times, yeah.
Yeah. So next one is Devin Haney versus Kambosos. This is getting a bit peculiar, this one. Because
it's still got weird, doesn't it?
Yeah, well, 1 minute Haney's saying the rematch isn't necessarily taking place. Then it's announced on October the 16th at the Rod Laver Stadium in Melbourne. That's where the rematch is taking place. Then Haney comes out and says Kambosos is a basic fighter. And if the rematch is in America, it won't do no numbers. So, I mean, what are your two thoughts on it? It seems to be all over the place. Sean?
Yeah. I don't know if Haney sort of trying to dream. I'm not so sure, but Kambosos, I don't think he wins the rematch if it happens. I think for Haney, he either Lomachenko or get Garcia down to 1-5 again because he needs a break. I'm not sure many people know who he is really outside hard boxing fans. So he really needs that. I'm not sure at this stage. I don't think he'll be at lightweight for too long. So I think he needs a real defining fight, really.
I think you've had a couple of cup finals in that weight division, haven't you? Obviously, Lomachenko lost his titles. That was the cup final. Then, obviously, Lopez won it, who Kambosos beat. Was it?
Yeah.
So then Kambosos beat Lopez, Teofimo Lopez, which again was a cup final. And I think both they just peaked. I think Lomachenko versus Haney is a proper fight at that weight, isn't it?
That's the fight that we all got cheated out of by this stupid franchise thing. And that, I was going to say that's not a dig at the WBC. It kind of is. But, like, I know what... If you know what I mean, like, we were supposed to get that fight. Haney was Lomachenko's mandatory. People keep saying he wasn't. He was actually Lomachenko's mandatory. And then randomly, I don't know how, because Lomachenko maintains he never petitioned to be franchise champion. So I don't know how he ended up as franchise champion.
Yeah.
And I don't know what the truth is to that or whatever. But then he ended up as franchise champion. We never got Lomachenko Haney. Haney ended up as WBC champion. And then it all got mental. And now we've got Haney is undisputed. Lomachenko's coming back. So surely that logistically makes the most sense. And if they really do have to contractually do this rematch, do that and then just do Lomachenko in like January because Loma's going to want one before Haney anyway.
I think Devin Haney is a bit special, I can't believe he was getting some heat for his performance against Kambosos. I thought he was a typical hit and don't get hit, to be honest.
I thought he was decent. I thought he boxed slick.
Yeah. On Twitter, some people are really going in on him, but you can't always have this big puncher who's going to knock someone out, especially down at the lighter weights. I didn't understand it, to be honest.
People used to be like that towards the end of his career about Mayweather, though. Like, hit, don't get hit, and that was his mantra. And do you know what? People want everyone to be all these like legendary fighters. They want them to be like Chavez and walk through things. Yeah. That doesn't work all the time. I mean, it worked for Chavez because Chavez had that much brute force. It works for someone, a heavyweight possibly.
But you can't keep going to the well that often as well, can you, Jack? You can't keep having wars after wars after wars because your punch resistance goes.
That's why Lee Wood needs to have a couple that aren't like on the edge of your seat. Because,
to be fair, though, the Zhukan fight, he didn't take much damage, did he?
He actually took less than than people were predicting him to, didn't they? Because people were predicting Zhukan would land at will, and then it was just going to be... Also, I love how people were saying going into that, Zhukan's on people's pound-for-pound list. Wood beats him, and then all of a sudden, he's like nobody.
All of a sudden, he's a bum.
Yeah. It was quite amusing, actually, because I was like, he wasn't on... I'll be honest, he wasn't on mine before the fight, but I still thought he was decent. I just didn't think he was on my pound-for-pound list. But I just thought, I've seen the same sort of boxing... Some of the boxing Twitter accounts that had him on their pound-for-pound list.
All I would say, and obviously you lads know I'm a big fan of Lee Wood, and obviously I'm from Nottingham, but I am balanced. Yeah. What I would say is, Zhukan had been out of the ring for a long time before that fight.
It was like 18 months, 2 years.
18 months. So what I would say is, I'm not quite sure why Zhukan didn't invoke the rematch, because there was definitely a rematch clause in there, because Roberto Diaz told us on camera. So that's interesting.
I think he retired. I think he's retired.
Right, because I've always stood to the belief. I'm not saying he would beat Lee Wood in the rematch. I don't think he would, but it would be a very different fight.
I believe he'd be better than he was because he looked rusty.
Yeah, I'd have to agree. When you think he's...
I don't know if Sean agrees, but...
What do you think, Sean?
Yeah, I agree, and you've got to think as well, we gave Lee Wood a chance in that was bought as a champion with match him, and he'd have been sort of star in the East Asia adventure. But actually, you could say that that's where Lee Wood really started his career to the heights he is now.
Yeah. Could he just come out of that boxing tournament and just suffered a loss there, didn't he?
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
It's interesting now. A lot of people are headhunting Lee Wood, like Nick Ball. Nick Ball's calling him out. Well,
that would be a good fight.
Yeah, but Nick Ball's got to earn his stripes just like Lee Wood
Yeah,
did.
but Nick Ball is ranked like number 5 by the number 5. Is it 4 or 5 by the WBC? So I don't really understand why he wouldn't just go and get that belt.
Yeah.
Who is WBC champion at Feather? I don't actually know off the top of my head. Oh, actually, I think I do. Oh no, because he doesn't have it anymore. Yeah, I'm struggling.
Is it Megasso?
Yeah, I think it might be.
You fought the other week, didn't you?
Yeah, and that's what I'm thinking. It might still be. It might be him. So I think he's like 4 or 5 with the WBC at the moment.
And dangerous fighter as well.
Who, Nick Ball?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's someone who does have power but can actually box.
Oh, that's right. Ray Vargas beat Megasso.
Vargas, yeah. Okay, yes.
Because obviously that's who Leo Santa Cruz wanted to fight, didn't he? And
yeah, he wanted to fight Vargas, and yeah, okay, that makes sense now.
Yeah. So I think Lee Wood can clean up it that way. I do. I think he can clean up.
The only way that I can see him not being able to would be, to be honest, if he was clever about it, the toughest fight for him would be Warrington, so I would leave Warrington till last.
I think Warrington spent is not half the fighter he was, Jack.
Yeah, but I still think he's a tougher fight than Vargas, so
I don't think he's got a chance of getting Vargas into the ring before Warrington, in my view.
That's the thing. Vargas, but if Nick Ball takes the belt, but then Vargas is not going to be stupid enough to give Nick Ball a voluntary, is he? Because there's a high chance you get knocked out if you do that. It's
interesting because Lee Wood, he's got a pair of balls on him, hasn't he? He's talking about Navarrete, isn't he, as well?
Navarrete would be
That's a war.
Dangerous fight. Like, that is a war.
It's a war.
That's the one where I would say to Warrington, stay off of him, because that doesn't seem like a good idea.
I think the Lara fight has changed the way Warrington fights. I think he's frightened now getting knocked out. What do you reckon, Sean?
I don't know. Is old Gary Russell still knocking about in the division as well? Because that could be a fight for Nick Ball, really. Just so we can see exactly where he is. That can elevate on to the world champions in the next, 6 to 12 months.
Has Russell not gone up? Has he gone up or not? I don't know.
I don't think he has gone up.
He's so inactive, I can never figure out what
exactly.
He's doing.
He's so inactive, so the chances of Nick Ball getting him the ring are remote, aren't they? I just think Nick Ball needs that next level, Sean, before he jumps in with a world champion, because it's a bit of a
reason I say Vargas is because I think Vargas is kind of below the level of the other champions, personally. That's not a dig at Vargas. He's still a very good fighter, but out of all the champions, I think he's the one that would be you could pluck his belt. But
it is a question for you both, bringing it back to our shores a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
Who wins out of Nathan Gorman and Fabio Wardley?
For me, Gorman. Just an experience thing.
What about you, Sean?
Yeah, I disagree. I actually think Wardley could win. I think, he necessarily doesn't get boxing fans because he's always not been in the sport. I think he's from like a rugby background. But
Wardley's a white collar guy.
White collar. Yeah. White collar.
I think, say, if he gets Gorman deep into the fight and tested his engine out, he might scrape it by a round or two.
Yeah, I think a motivated. That's a little. I'll underline that. A motivated Gorman would stop Wardley early.
I don't think early, but he would stop him. I'd say mid-round.
Well, that's how much I think of Wardley. Honestly, I think.
You don't rate Wardley at all, though, do you?
No, I'll tell you why. I'll tell you what I didn't like is when he's done that stupid Muhammad Ali shuffle attempt at one. Let's say, when he was fighting, and it just seemed his attitude when he's fighting Nick Webb, and they brought, I can't remember what his name is now, some over the hill Mexican over to fight him. You know, you may as well throw him in with Babic next.
Oh, they brought Molina over, didn't they?
Yeah, that was a dreadful fight. Molina was looking for a way out from the first belt.
Did they bring Babic? They brought him over for Babic as well, didn't they?
I mean, that I'd watch that one for the comedy effect, Babic versus Wardley. I honestly, I'd have to toss a coin because I don't know who wins that.
But Babic will eventually get hit. I don't know who's going to do it, but
Dave Allen will if he gets in with him.
Possibly, actually. But do you know the scary thing? If Dave Allen gets in with... Oh, he's not now, actually. Because, again, this is where the WBC are weird. At one point, they had him ranked... So, you've got your top 15, and then there's sort of an unofficial ranking below that. They had freaking Wardley ranked 16th. Like... no, not Wardley. Babic ranked 16th at one point. They won't now because he's in the Bridgerweight thing, and I don't.
I'll tell you, I think one of them might fight soon, and that's the S-Jam boxer, Solomon Dacus.
Yeah, I'm not really sure what to make of him. He looks good, but
he looks the part.
What?
He looks the part, don't he?
Yeah, he looks the part, and I'm like, I tell you who. There's a good fight on the. I think it's on the. Is it Wasserman card? Hosea Stewart and Franklin Ignatius.
Right.
That's a good fight. Little one to watch out for. I don't know if they'll put it actually on Channel 5 or if they show it after the main event. But if they do show it after the main event, I'd advise you to stay tuned in because that'll be a good fight. Bit of a weird one because they're both about 3-0. Like, I don't really understand why they're fighting each other, but fair play, Calla. It was obviously one of those let's do this kind of things.
And then, Sean, you finally get a fight roughly down your way next week, don't you, Billam Smith?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. I've been a fan. I think with him though. Again, a bit like Andrade we spoke about, he hasn't really got anything about him to push himself into the wider public. He isn't the most engaging guy, and I don't think he's got a particularly good sense of humour, you know. I think he's one of these boxers that long in their career, really, but I hope he wins forward to the fight.
He gained a little bit of traction off of that Boxing Life Stories thing with Tris Dixon, where he talked about openly about his upbringing and stuff like that. But I do get what you mean. He hasn't really been media, pushing himself in the media and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, tonight I watched that's the first UFC card I've watched ever tonight because obviously there's literally no boxing on. And I know they can't all be I'm not sure about Molly McCann's political comments in the ring.
Oh, yeah.
But Molly and Paddy, they're experts in selling themselves, aren't they?
Right. I'm going to correct you on something here. So, I was on his podcast, right? So I went on his podcast last week, and it's going to air after it's going to come out this week, I think, after the in the immediate aftermath of the fight. Now, he's genuinely like that in real life. Like, even off camera, when the camera wasn't rolling, we were just talking. And he just genuinely is a really genuine person. Like, people always slag him off and Twitter hates him or loves him. But I actually really like him because he's genuinely like that. I've not met Molly, so I couldn't tell you.
I have, yeah.
You've met her, haven't you? You've interviewed her. I really do want to meet her. She's boxing background anyway, so she.
Yeah.
Interesting, but
very nice young lady.
Yeah, she's really nice apparently. My friend who's an Everton fan has actually I think he's met her before, and he said she was all right. Like, she was quite nice. But my only fault with her is her being an Everton fan. So if she sees this, yeah, the first time in my life I found myself cheering an Everton fan on.
But the point, though, Jack, is there's no such thing as bad publicity either, is there? So when you say people are giving him stick on Twitter, this is still relevant and they're still talking about
Oh
it.
yeah. I used to say this when I was an athlete. You either have to be very good or very controversial, because controversy sells. And if you're both, you are Conor McGregor, basically.
Yeah, if you're both, you're gold dust.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I wasn't really, really good. I could do the controversial bit at times, but I don't know. I was all right.
And then coming on to a couple of characters who can sell themselves, Eubank Jr. and Ben. I'm being led to
getting this fight.
Well, I'm being led to believe that it's next Thursday when the actual official press conference takes place.
Oh, I'm led to believe it'll be announced next week. I don't know the actual thing, but
Thursday, I'm being told.
I'm assuming we're probably hearing this from the same sort of people, to be honest.
Yeah. So, safe to say that I've booked an hotel in advance in London. So,
right, fair enough. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Do I go to my nan's and just go to this? Because, like, I feel like I should. I haven't actually got the date. Like, somebody, like, people keep putting out dates, and
I know the date as well.
Inbox me. Like, I mean, I probably do, but like, there's two that I've been sort of dropped the hint.
Well, Jack, put your cards on the table then. You're amongst friends. What dates have you been given?
So October the what was it?
Allegedly, October.
Yeah,
the what?
allegedly. The two. Oh, by the way, these weren't from. This was from a few people. October the 8th or 9th, whichever one's the Saturday. And the other one was November, sometime in November, but I can't remember the date. First week of November was the other date that I had.
Yeah, I'm told October the 8th.
Yeah, that was one. I guess, because the other one, yeah, I just.
Who wins this, Jack?
It's going to be Matchroom promoted as well, or
who wins it, Jack?
For me, I don't know. For me, I kind of believe Eubank's too big. I just think it's too big, and I think it very much depends if it is at 156.
Even with a rehydration clause.
If it was a rehydration clause, I give bet it's a closer fight. But if there isn't a rehydration clause, Eubank will come in at like 170, and we'll all be screwed.
One thing Ben don't do, knock Eubank Jr. out.
No, he won't. He won't, because he's so much the physically smaller man. He will not knock him out.
What do you reckon, Sean?
Yeah, I actually got a sneaky feeling that Conor actually win. Have you both from this morning? He looked to go like middleweight or maybe middleweight. How he bulked up, and you know that could be a worry, really, considering the pace he was the welterweight will translate to the. But I think Eubank, if there's no way, I think it's going to be a real struggle for him to get to even 156, because I've seen him walking around the city. He probably weighs, I would say, to 14 stones on ordinary days. So I think it's going to be a real struggle for him to get down to the weight they set.
I think he beats one of them.
I just want some part of the undercard so I can get a free ticket.
Even with a rehydration clause, I think he beats him, Sean, because I think he'll just keep Ben at the end of a jab. He's got the engine to get around the ring, and he can bang a little bit, can't he? So I just think Conor Ben's too small.
The only thing I would say is if there was a rehydration clause, Eubank may fade towards the end of the fight, and then it's a case of how many rounds up he is going into the point where he fades. But to me, I think I'd make Eubank the favourite. I'm not saying there's no way Conor Benn can win the fight. There probably is, but like, it just, especially if there's no rehydration clause, it would be ridiculous.
Well, even if there is a rehydration clause, I understand there's a fine for every pound you're above above the weight limit. Well, what's to stop him just taking a fine?
I mean, who was it who did that? Somebody
Yeah.
Was it Golovkin did that when he had when he had one of the he did that in one of his fights, and I think it might have been when he was IBF champion. They had one of his the IBF removed the clause because it was a unification and you didn't have to have it on the other governing bodies, and they left it in as a fine, and I think it was Golovkin took the actual fine just to keep rehydrating above, and I think he come in at I think on the day he was like 175, something stupid like that, which is 15 pounds overnight. Which, I mean,
yeah,
we got to remember that Eubank fought at 168 at one point.
Yeah, so he's a big lad.
Thing that people forget as well is Tony Sims is very particular who he puts his fighters in with. So he must know something outside of what all we know, even consider putting in this fight, because for me, he doesn't seem the kind of guy that would just put money. There must be something that takes in or knows in this fight.
Yeah. So if you've got if you know anyone who knows Tony Sims, get him on the show and ask him if they announce this fight, because I want to know what it is as well.
Okay, last question for you both, and then we'll wrap it up, guys. So thank you for joining. Tyson Fury retired, yes or no? Jack?
No.
Do you want to elaborate?
Oh, right. Okay, I will elaborate on it. Because, honest to God, right, if AJ wins that fight, I know he's not going to fight for free, no matter what he says. I believe that he's done a lot of donations to charity, because I know for a fact he's done a lot of donations to charity, but I don't believe he's going to retire or he's going to fight for free. But if Joshua somehow pulls off the fight against Usyk, and I'm not saying he will, and wins, we'll see that fight for Undisputed. And I mean, we might not see the rematch that they signed for, because Fury might win it and then go, "Thank you very much, I'm off." All the belts go everywhere.
Yeah.
But I don't believe he's retired. No.
Sure.
No, I don't think of that. I think as much all about the money. Clearly he is. You only got Instagram to see how he lives his life. I think Usyk won't happen now. I generally think he's not in favour of Usyk. I think I wouldn't be surprised if we see him fight Joe Joyce. Actually, I think he would at some point in the next year.
It's quite interesting, because I won't name who told me this, but I've had it on very good authority there that it was all in place for Tyson Fury to actually fight Usyk before. And Tyson Fury didn't take the fight. All the stand aside money had been sorted, blah, blah, blah. And Fury didn't take the fight.
I think I know. I think I've heard a few things about that, but I heard that it was 3/4 done once, and that the only problem was Dillian White, because Dillian wouldn't step aside.
Well, I was told it was all done.
Yeah, because I heard that Dillian was the only problem, and they offered him a substantial amount of money, and he wouldn't, because basically the WBC kind of told Dillian, from what my understanding, if you step aside, we will just remove you as mandatory. Yeah. So he was like, no thanks, I want the world title. Yeah, how did that work out for you? I like Dillian. though, so I'm not gonna say him.
Yeah, I mean, he must be about ready to announce his next fight. You'd imagine, wouldn't you, sooner or later?
I think again he'll be back.
Although he's
sort
not
of
sure of a
November,
bobber too, is he?
October, November, I think he'll be back. I mean, he'll announce it probably next 3-4 weeks.
Yep.
From what I'm hearing anyway.
It'd be interesting.
The thing that's a bit more, I think, is that still there's yet no broadcaster for Usyk. Yeah, we got this almost.
Oh, we were
strange
speaking
undercard,
about
really.
this earlier on.
Yeah, we mentioned that, Sean, earlier before he joined us. It's 4 weeks tonight, that fight is.
Yeah,
You know,
I mean,
and there's still no announcement.
And then there's all these rumours coming up now that Sky might pull out.
yeah, I mean, surely it's broadcast somewhere, but by the UK, it's the biggest audience for that, so there's going to be a broadcaster. It's just really strange. It's the fact that we got almost the bits and pieces undercard with no sort of matchroom comment, no Sky comment, no extra fast approaching.
Yeah, and they're not going to make money off the gate, are they? Let's be honest with you. That's going to cover them bills. So, you know, I'd imagine TV rights from around the world, including the UK.
But they do get a site fee. So
Yeah,
site fee is bigger than the TV rights now. When you go to
but the
Saudi.
TV rights still make a significant amount of.
Oh yeah, I mean it makes a significant amount of extra profit, but they'll make a profit just off the site fee.
Yeah,
Which,
I still think
I don't know what the site fee is, by the way. I just
the
know.
TV rights still make a significant proportion of the income, though, doesn't it, Jack?
Well, yeah, especially and if you're Usyk and you're Joshua, they normally have pay-per-view points in their contracts. They're not going to want they're not going to want less on that, you know.
Yeah. So
I would assume they both have them. I know AJ will, but I'm assuming Usyk will have one as well. Because
I'm still going for Sky. I still think Sky will have the deal.
I don't mind if Sky. I don't care who gets it. I just want someone to get it.
Yeah.
I want someone to get it, and I don't want it to be Fight TV. Is that too much to ask?
Okay, on that note, Sean, thanks for joining, brother. Much appreciated.
Yeah.
Jack, thanks for joining.
All right.
Thanks for the comments in the sidebar. Much appreciated. Back to the normal slot on Thursday, 7 p.m. We'll see you all then. Cheers, boys.
Yeah.